Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I need to cover this. It's bugging me. All right. Hi, Ellen. Nice to have you. Hi, Kathy. Nice to have you. Whoever else is here. Today's going to be very interesting because I've got a lot going on at my house. I have workers here, so there may be drills that we hear. It's going to be interesting. And because of that, I'm going to do something a little different. So I know you two are new to me, Ellen and Kathy. And then hi, Stevie. So quite often, very often, actually, I begin on the ground with my classes. And today we're going to begin a little different. So I like to switch it up. You'll learn that about me. I like to always keep it exciting because I think that we're more likely to do it if it is different and exciting. And so, yes, we're going to begin in a chair today. So just let's see how it goes. All right. I hope you're well. And if you do hear any background noise, I'm just telling you beforehand that there is a lot going on around me, so you might hear stuff. All right, let me move my chair over. All right, so welcome. Today we are going to do the practice beginning in the chair. Beginning with seated, we'll move to standing. The focus for today's class is going to be on the hip joint and on the movement of the hips. So I'd like to focus a lot today on proper bending and try to get this awareness to raise your awareness to this, because there's one major no-no if you have osteoporosis is to forward fold. Bending forward is the biggest no-no that there is, right? So that's in a standing position, this rounding the back, that's a no-no. Also, sometimes you'll hear no rotation, and I'm going to say that that's not the case for the work that I do. That's not the case for the work that Dr. Fishman does. And there are studies to show that rotation can actually create a lot of force for bone building if it's done properly. So today's class, let's focus on our raised awareness. Let's test the movability of our hip joint, and let's raise our awareness to what that actually means, what it means to properly bend, because we do it all day, every day, and we need to make sure we're safe. So for today's practice, you will need a block and a strap. You will need a blanket for the practice at some point. So go ahead and gather everything you'll need, put it off to the side, and then you will need a chair. And the thing is, it'd be better for you to have a chair that has no arms. So if you could find an armless chair, this right here I have is actually an aluminum chair. It's a really great chair to use because it doesn't have any arms. And also there's a lot of feedback because it's hard and there's no cushioning on it. I get feedback for body position. So very important when you practice yoga for osteoporosis that you understand joint movement and that you feel your body moving. Super important. It's called interoception, inner body awareness. And having inner body awareness is very important to keep yourself safe. All right, so without further ado, let's begin the practice. Bring yourself onto your seat. If you are shorter than, let's say, about 5'2"-ish, you may want to put something underneath your feet for support. And if you are taller than 5'8", you may want to have something to sit on. So that's going to affect the joints. And so choose what is appropriate for you. And we are going to begin. So find yourself in your seat, be up against the back of the chair, just sit really comfortable, and then push the lower body back more than the upper body. So push your lower body back, feel the support of the pelvis, feel yourself supported by your pelvis. So often people sit like this, where their upper body would be closer to the back of the chair. I'm asking you to take your lower body and push your lower body up. so that you're in more of a erect, upright position coming out of your pelvis. And bring your awareness to where you are. Do a little bit with your feet, stomping your feet a little bit so that you feel them, and then go a little slower and pretty heavy. Even a little bit like you lift it up, but you drop it. You lift it up, but you drop it. You lift it up, but you drop it. So do a little bit there. And then bring your awareness to this moment where you are. So you could close your eyes, setting that intention that now is the time to practice yoga. Now is the time where I take my mind, my body, and my soul to this very moment, right here, right now. And then I'd like you to open your eyes for this part. We're going to take the hands down alongside the body, have them be beside you, not in front of you. So push them back. We're going to start with real intentional movements from the beginning. And you're going to take your palms up. You're going to inhale, look up with your gaze, bring your hands together, and then let your hands come straight down in front of your body. Inhale, arms are out and up. Bring your hands down in front of you. One more, inhale. And bring yourself down in front of you. I want you to close your eyes now and do 5 of those with your eyes closed. Inhaling up. Allow the palms to find each other. Bring the hands down in front of your chest by your heart. Do 5 of these. Eyes are closed. Allow your body and mind to integrate here with movement. And when you do all 5, stay there. Keep your hands right in front of your heart. Hands are touching. Bring your awareness to your hands. Let your thumbs press in against the sternum bone. And let the hands touch. And press the thumbs together. Press the pointer fingers together. Press the middle fingers together. Press the ring fingers together. And press the pinky fingers together. And now press the entire palms into each other. Feel the heel of the hand, the palm, and the fingers all touching. And bring your awareness to your breath. Keep your back teeth separated. Pay attention to the breath as it comes in the nostrils and comes into your chest. Lengthen the back of the neck. Slightly tuck the chin down towards the chest. We'll pay attention to the breath. Pay attention to the body. Notice what you notice. Bring your hands down on top of your thighs. Keep your eyes closed. Feel your body where it is. Slide your hands back so the elbows come right underneath the shoulders. And feel the shoulder blades gliding onto the upper back. Helps to support your posture. Then I'd like you to make sure the back teeth are separated. Lips are touching. You're breathing in and out through your nose. This helps to release chemicals that help to soften and relax your throat, relax the opening to the lungs, to facilitate breath or respiration. I'm going to do a breath. It's called Savitri Pranayama. It is a rectangle shaped breath. You could visualize the rectangle. We're going to inhale and then hold the breath. Exhale and hold the breath, making a rectangular shape. I'll first start out with 4 on the inhale, 2 to hold, 4 on the exhale, and 2 to hold. And then I'll move up to 6 on the inhale, 3 to hold, 6 on the exhale, and 3 to hold. And you'll see what is appropriate for you so that you can learn this pranayama and add it to your treasure chest of tools. It can be very therapeutic for managing stress, which then helps to keep the minerals in the bones. So bone density, we need to manage our stress to keep our bones strong, keep our body strong. So let's prepare. Take a big exhale and begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Adding on. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Continue on your own. Choose the number that's appropriate for you. Count and visualize a rectangle. If you get distracted, bring your awareness back to counting, back to inhale, hold, exhale, hold. You could visualize the shape of a rectangle. And wherever you are, finish this breath and do 3 more rounds of breath, visualizing, counting. When you finish the last round, give the breath back to your body to breathe itself. And notice, and stay with your breath, stay with being in this moment, this moment. Awareness to your fingers, start to move your fingers. To your fingers, start to move your fingers. Little taps on your thighs. Try all of them together. Try one at a time. Bring your hands up together. Take the hands, rub the hands. Cover your eyes. Bring your awareness to your eyelids. Instead of you blinking your eyes open, can you let them blink themselves open? Feel the blinking, and then finally the eyes peel themselves open. And then bring your hands down. And then notice, pay attention. Notice how you're feeling. Is there a sense of calm? Or is it a challenge to direct your mind in this way? So depending on where you are in terms of practicing yoga, it could be a real challenge in the beginning when you're trying to calm your mind and focus your mind, or bring yourself to certain parts of the mind that maybe you don't go to very often. And it is so important to manage our stress, because stress is a catabolic, which means a breaking down process. And part of it is breaking down bone tissue to release the minerals into the system, to manage that, what's happening inside. So we don't always realize that, but the stress, the thoughts, the worry, the fear, all the things we have, if you get a diagnosis of osteoporosis, you go into a place of fear of, oh my gosh, I'm going to break, I'm fragile. What does this mean for my life? What can I do? What can't I do? What should I do? What shouldn't I do? Well, all of that stuff takes chemicals. It causes chemical reaction. And the bones store minerals, and those minerals are what helps to balance chemical reactions in the body, or they're needed for chemical reactions. So we need to manage our stress. We need to take the moments out where we actually slow down. We slow down, we connect to our breath. So the Savitri Pranayama that I just shared with you is a wonderful practice. And in my lineage that I learned it in, many of the teachers, teachers have studied this for years and years and years. They actually turn this into a walking meditation. They walk around their house, inhaling for a certain amount, holding, exhaling, holding. So it could be actually something that at any moment you do. You actually intentionally bring yourself to the moment. And I'd like to say that because this is an osteoporosis class, fall prevention is paramount for us. And so you may think like you don't want to be distracted when you're walking and doing some counting of your breath. But when you count and when you're in that moment, you're so present moment. And then if you did that when you're walking, you're going to be in parts of your brain that is so focused, more focused than we ever are when we're casually walking from one room of our in parts of your brain that is so focused, more focused than we ever are when we're casually walking from one room of our house to the other, or one place to the other. So all of these tools, pieces of awareness and tools to have for our treasure chest for bone health. So wanted to add that there. All right. So let's move on to physical practice. Let's move on to movement. So you could keep your props next to you. We are going to do a little bit of movement on the chair. I'd like to turn my chair to the side because I'd like you to get a good angle. I want you to bring yourself forward, away from the back of the chair. And when you bring yourself forward, you actually fire up the muscles along your spine, the erector muscles that have to hold you upright, right? So this is what we want more of in our body. We want to be neutral in our spine or doing work that adds back bends. And we want to make sure we don't have this happening. We want to always be aware of this because half of the fractures are in this part of the spine, and posture and the way you stand and sit and move throughout your day is part of what contributes to that. All right, so you're going to come forward. I want you to bring your awareness to your bones that you're sitting on. So do a little rocking action side to side, side to side. Feel yourself, the weight moving there. And then do a little bit of a forward and back. But forward and back as in your entire torso moves with you, forward and back. Not a head moves and not that the head moves and the pelvis stays stationary. I want this entire top part of your body to move forward and back. And what's happening there is this part of you, your hip joint, is actually bending and releasing. Bend and extend. The opposite of a bend or flexion is extension. Flexion and extension. Flexion and extension is happening in your hip joint. So getting that little awareness piece there. Okay? Now, bring your awareness to your vertebra. You have 26 bones. 2 of them are embedded in the pelvis, and you have 24 bones here. 5 in the low back, 12 in the thoracic spine where the ribs are attached, 7 in your neck. So I want you to think about these 26 bones, and 24 of them are mobile, and in between them are jelly donuts. So we're going to squish the jelly forward, squish the jelly back. That's what we're going to be doing in this first part. So bring your awareness to what you're sitting on, which are like rocking chair legs. Let's see if you could tilt your pelvis forward and backward. Pelvis goes forward and backward, forward and backward. So there's a hip joint flexion that happens here. There's action happening in your hip to tilt your pelvis forward and backwards. There's also spine movement here as well to get that to happen. Okay, forward and back. So this is flexion and extension in the lower spine, and we want to keep motion in our body, but we do not want the flexion when your body's back. We do not want that flexion to come up into the thoracic and then into the cervical. So let's not let it come into your rib cage and your neck. Let's keep it right below the ribs, the 5 spine bones below the ribs and the pelvic area. So let's push the body back. So you're pushing your body back so your tailbone towards your tailbone, and your low back is flattening out or adding flexion, which is the opposite curve. And then you're going to come forward, which is called extension, the natural curve. And now let's bring that up into the spine that's by the rib cage and the throat. Open up your throat. This is called extension. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. You need more of this in your life. You want the shape in your body. Inhale here. Now as you exhale, lower body moves back, low back moves back, and you stop the action right there at your low ribs. Inhale forward into extension, full spinal extension. Exhale into flexion only in the lower lumbar. Inhale. Do a very small movement at first, especially if you're not getting this. If you're not getting it, do a slow movement. You're going to squeeze the front of your spine bones to push the jelly donuts back, the jelly and the donut. And then when you come into your extension, you're pushing the jelly forward, opening up the front of your spine. One more. And then bring yourself back to center. We want to create lubricating fluids in our spine, getting the synovial fluids to secrete so that we can have safe movement in our spine. Now we're going to bend our spine sideways and sideways, side to side. So take your hand down in the chair, take the other hand out. You're going to be up and over. Bring yourself up and bring yourself over. Let's go up and over, up and over. Really reach your lower ribs away from the pelvis when you come up and over. This is lateral flexion. Also shoulder joints. So for some people, shoulders might out like this. You may want to take your hand here and do a little bit of side to side action like this. So whatever you'd like to do. Let's do one more each side. warming up the shoulders, upper body, postural muscles, muscles of alignment, muscles that are important for keeping the spine in alignment, to keep the bone minerals in the minerals in the bones, also for fall prevention, to keep you nice and upright. Now the next one is rotation, and this is where we want to be careful. So let's first take our head, take your hands on top of your thighs, elbows are underneath the shoulders. So don't have your elbows forward, have your elbows underneath the shoulders. Nice and tall here. You're going to only let your head move. Inhale to one side, exhale back to center. Inhale, other side, and exhale back to center. Go slow. Inhale to one side, exhale back to center. Inhale, other side, and exhale back to center. Go slow. Inhale. And one more. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's go a little bigger now. So from the lower ribs, we're going to rotate the upper body. So take your hand on the chair behind you, take your other hand on the opposite leg, push down to get tall, and then push your heart forward. So there is a little back bend in this upper spine, and that's what makes it safe to add rotation with that back bend. Push down, get tall, inhale. And then as you exhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs rotate in whatever direction it is you've gone in. Push your pelvis into the floor, push your belly button back towards your spine. Really lift nice and tall in your spine and press your heart forward. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Let's go to the other side. So you're going to take the hand behind you, take your arm across. Nice long spine here. Push your heart forward. Inhale. And then exhale. Nice long spine. Push your heart forward. Keep your ears away from your shoulders. Long neck. Take one. And bring yourself back to center. You're still forward. You're not near the back of the chair, so we're doing work today. Take your hands on your shoulders. Nice and tall here. Arms to the side. Inhale. As you exhale, just your neck moves. Chin comes towards the chest. Elbows come towards each other. And inhale. Open, really open. Open up the front of your spine here. Feel the low ribs moving away from the pelvis. And then exhale. Let the chin go towards the chest. Only move the neck, so do not round the upper back here. Inhale. Inhale here. Move elbows back. Shoulder blades go on the back of the upper rib cage. And then exhale to the chest. Feel that movement in the shoulder blade area, helping with posture, which is so important for bone health. Posture. Fall prevention. One more. Bring yourself up and open. And then go ahead and rest. Have a seat all the way back. So when it comes to bone health, it's not just about stimulating the bones and getting the muscles strong. That's a very big part of this. It's also very important to work on posture and balance and alignment, so you keep the minerals in the bones, and so you work on fall prevention, so that you minimize fracture risk, which is huge. Okay, go ahead and get a strap. Let me show you what I'm doing. Those with shoulder issues, you may not want to do this, and you'll look at it and know whether you can or can't. So its arms are really spread wide, elbows are not bent here. You bring your hands up and in front of you. Arms are up and back, And then if this doesn't feel good for you, don't do this. Sometimes you could, I guess, bend one elbow and do one elbow at a time. So it's really getting that shoulder and that side. It's about stretching the muscles in the front of the body and getting the back muscles to work to get that action to happen. Let's go ahead and take a break for a second. Maybe there's some tension in the neck from that. So top of the ear reaches up towards the sky, and then this side, top of the ear, up towards the sky. Top of the ear up towards the sky. Top of the ear up towards the sky. And then bring yourself back to center. We're going to do something to strengthen the muscle, like the triangular shaped muscles in the back of the body and the muscles that are between the ribs that draw the ribs, muscles between the shoulder blades that draw the shoulder blades towards the back of your body, which is where they belong, instead of around the sides. The shoulder blades come here when we're in that rounded position. So we really need the back to be nice and strong to hold us upright. So let's go ahead and get your strap, and only about this distance here. So it's not very wide. Don't be really wide here, just about 12 inches maybe. And I want you to pull strong, like you're ripping your strap or whatever it is you have. You're really pulling tight here. And you're going to bring it up behind you. You're going to pull it really tight. Inhale. And then as you exhale, draw your shoulder blades towards each other and the tips of your shoulder blades down towards the top edge of your pelvis. Your hands are down towards your shoulders. And then inhale up. Keep pulling on the shoulder. Push your heart forward. Lift your heart forward. So you have a lengthened upper spine and you have a back bend. Try not to let the strap touch the head here. So do not slide the strap up and down the back of your head. Keep pushing it back, pulling out on the strap. Slide the shoulder blades together and the tips of the shoulder blades down towards the back. Really activate and engage those muscles. One more time, bring yourself down into this position. Stay here. Gaze is straight ahead. Shoulder tips are pulling in and down and back. Really activate those muscles of posture and stability in your upper back. Heart is lifting forward. Pelvis is heavy. Belly button's pushing back towards the spine. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out of that. Hopefully you're feeling that. I feel lots of warmth as you strengthen your arms, right? You strengthen your shoulders, you strengthen your arm muscles, strengthen the back. A lot of great strengthening there happening. Let's go ahead and put the strap to the side. And then you're going to clear your space. Let's clear the space here. You're going to come into a warrior bottom body position. So I spoke about the hip joint and the hip joint flexion. Now, when we're down in the chair like this, we go really low in our joints. We get a real deep flexion here. This hip joint is flexed pretty much at its maximum, right? And for some of you, you may need to put your foot forward. Just come into this because depending on where you are in your body, you might have some tension here. Sometimes turning the chair on a triangle so that you have that thigh supported here. Definitely need an arm without chair without arms to make that a little easier. The leg at the back moving towards being able to straighten it. At first, maybe you have a little bend in it. Let's try to find this in something close to this in your body because it's important to have range of motion in your joints. And then we want to grow out of our pelvis instead of having the torso forward. So just notice if it feels more comfortable for you to be here, but you're really trying to stack your spine here and open your heart forward. Push that foot into the floor. Now, if you are 5'2" or maybe even 3 or lower, it might be hard to get your heel on the ground, so you may need to put a blanket under there. We're not going to stand up, or if you are going to stand up, you don't want that. Okay, so with the back foot, you want the pinky toe edge to touch the floor. The arch is activated, you're grabbing the floor with the feet. And then let's do a little bit of the arm position here. So take your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Stay here. Now reach your hands down Really reach your fingers away from you. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale, only let the arm bones rise. Do not let your shoulders lift up towards your ears. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. One more with resistance, like you have a big weight on top of your arms and you're pushing through to hold the arms up. Stay here. Look forward. This is warrior two. Look over your middle finger. For those of you who want a little bit more strengthening, push that front leg into the floor and lift off the chair. If that's what you'd like to do. Try not to come too high away from the chair or stay down there. Push into that back edge of the foot. Lift yourself nice and tall. Push your arms alongside you. Push your feet into the floor and lift that energy up into your body. Long, long, long spine. Reach out your fingertips. Long neck. One more breath. And then you're going to bring yourself down. Take a break for a second. Now, it is harder to lift up from this position because it is such a deep flexion. The leg coming away from you, this femur bone, to try to support your body weight when it's away from your body like this, when it usually is straight up and down, a lot of force. So for some people, they're not able to come up from a seated position to standing. But even if you push your feet into the floor and you're trying for the whole 30 seconds to do that, you're strengthening muscles and using muscles. All right, shoulders are forward, they're up, they're back, and they're down. Really heavy arms, lots of resistance as you bring yourself up into the warrior two. Bend the front arm, lengthen your torso, bring yourself up into the warrior two. Bend the front arm, lengthen your torso, bring the top of your arm on top of your thigh, bring your arm up towards the sky. And then can you take the arm on the inner knee, lengthen your spine and rotate your torso forward. Reach your arm up and over. So working on form, because the form of these postures is what creates all the forces to stimulate bone growth, to keep the muscles strong, to motion in your joints, all the things we need for our bone health. Push that back leg into the ground, very active front leg, back leg. Press that arm into the leg, rotate your trunk forward, reach your arm up, create as much force in your body and tension as you can. Take one more breath. And then yourself back up to your warrior two, and then go ahead and relax. We're going to come to the other side. So arrange yourself in whatever feels appropriate. One thing that makes it a little bit easier is that you take the front knee joint all the way to the edge of the chair. The back leg away from you. For some, you need to go a little forward with your leg. It all depends on what's happening in your hip joints, your pelvis, all the muscles that attach the legs to the body. And then really strongly push to that back leg so the foot is active. And then let's work on our postures here. Growing out of your pelvis, make some nice strong angles, really deep flexion in that front hip, in that front knee, and in that ankle. Let's bring shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Stay here. Press your shoulders down. Slide the shoulder blades to each other. Tips of shoulders in towards each other and down towards the pelvis. Hands are down. Exhale. Inhale, rise up with strength. Don't just throw them up there. Work to get them up there. Exhale. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Inhale, rise. Stay here. Look over front finger, middle finger. Keep your neck nice and tall. Keep your torso right out of your body. If you are going to lift up, you may need to come forward a little bit, coming out of the chair that's appropriate for you. You don't have to. Push your feet into the floor and try to push up, even if you can't. Activate as much muscular action as you can. Reach out your hands, lift your chest, push your hands back, bend your hip and your knee as deep as possible. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back down if you came up. Hands down. Take a break for a second. Take that tension out. There's so many things happening. We're pulling on bones from so many different muscles. We're doing force, compressive force, weight bearing force to stimulate bone growth. We're strengthening muscles. The stronger, the heavier the muscles get, the more pressure they put on the bones. So even when you're not practicing asana, developing those strong muscles is going to demand more from your bones. So you're here for bone health, and that's what you're getting. All right, let's come into that side angle position. Shoulders are forward, they're up, they're back, and they're down. And then you're going to inhale with resistance growing right out of your pelvis, long neck, no shoulder earrings, nice long neck. And then bend that front arm, reach long in your torso to come forward. Hand is on your thigh. Reach your arm up towards the sky. Straight leg if you can, active leg. And if you could bring your arm on the inside to get more rotational force of the trunk, stimulating spine, spinal bone growth. Push your belly button to your spine, push your feet into the floor, rotate, rotate, rotate. Deep breaths. Reach your arm up and over, lengthen that side from the edge of your pinky toe all the way up out your fingers. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself all the way back up and out. Come to the front edge of your chair and do a little bit of hip joint release. Holding onto the chair, high or low, whatever feels appropriate for you. And move your hips. Let the kneecap lead the way. Internal, external hip joint rotation. Stretching and releasing. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's come with a block. So go ahead and grab your block. Take your block between your knees. Take your hands on the chair. We're going to do a posture called camel. This is a really strong, it's a very strong extension, spinal extension or back bend. So the shoulders are really moving towards each other. And we want to get this really lifted chest here. So this is one version you could do. You're going to take your hands behind you, find whatever's appropriate on your chair. Maybe fingers are reaching behind, the body's really strong, narrow, and you could have your arms slightly bent or straight. Push your shoulder blades into your spine. So this may be where you stay, or if you'd like to squeeze your block and lift your pelvis off, you can come up off the chair. So choose the appropriate camel posture for your body. Strong spinal extension. Push your heart forward. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Make sure the force in the upper body is in the back. Opening the front, contracting the back. Open your front ribs. Feel space between each vertebra. Take one more breath. And then slowly, slowly bring yourself down. Take your hands, shake your wrists. A little bit floppy at first, and a little more intentional. Fingers, flex. So bending the wrist. And then we'll do a wrist stretch. Just take a little break from all that strengthening we just have done. past couple postures. So we'll do a little rest stretch that actually Dr. Fishman added to his second series because this is an area that we need to have more range of motion in. So I will speak about what hand I have. This is my left hand. It may look like it's my right. If I look at you, this will be, if you're mirroring me, this will be your right side. But I'm going to do the left. So let's all do the left. You're going to take your hands, palms are facing each other, and then turn them so the thumbs go down towards the ground and the back of the hands face each other. And then take the left wrist over the right wrist. Arms are straight here, and clasp your hands. So the palms are touching and your hands are clasped. Lower your shoulders. Slowly guide the hands. So the palms are touching and your hands are clasped. Lower your shoulders. Slowly guide hands. And the palms are still touching, so only go as far as you can. Push the hands away from the body. Separate the elbows a little bit more. Those are all things to make it more intense. Some of you may be able to go bringing your hands forward. Maybe that's appropriate for you. Do what is appropriate. Find in your body where you feel pulling, appropriate pulling on your left side. And then let's bring the hand out. Let's go to the other side. Take your hands, backs of the hands face each other, thumbs are down. Take the right wrist over the left and clasp your hands, lower your shoulders. Slowly guide the hands down, up, and around. Feel the tension, elbows separate a little bit more. Maybe you try to go straight or push the hands away from your body. Lower the arms sometimes can create more tension. Find what's appropriate for you. And then one last breath. And then let's go ahead and take your hands out. Okay, shake your wrists. Your hands out. Okay, shake your wrists. Can be done anytime, doesn't have to be done during the yoga practice or when you're on a mat. Let's take the block is between your thighs. Walk your feet closer to the chair. So now we've got the bend of the knee and we have the bend of the hip. So we're working here with lower limb flexion and extension. Now, if getting up is hard, if you have issues with your knees, you maybe want to sit on something, folding a blanket to make it a little higher, to make it a little easier for you to get up and down. So if you do have struggles, set yourself up for success. The goal is to be able to do something, whatever's appropriate for you, not to make it look like I make it look, but just to do whatever is appropriate for you. So working on knee flexion and hip joint flexion, this is part of safe bending and safe proper hip joint movement. Walk your feet closer together. So this block is about 4 inches. These blocks are about 4 inches. Some of you may have a block that's 3 inches. The 4 inches is pretty good because it's pretty close to the inner aspect of the hip joint. The 3-inch block I find to be a little bit too small. So squeezing your legs together, the soles of the feet stay on the ground. Now we want to keep a nice long spine here. We want to take our arms down, shoulders are forward, back and down, so you have your shoulder blades on your back. Squeeze your block, bring your body weight forward, push your feet into the floor. Inhale to come up and exhale to go down. Try to make it be a very smooth up and exhale to go down. Try to make it be a very smooth move. Push your heels in, squeeze the block, unbend your hip joint. Let your hip joint be what lifts you up. So feel your hip where the bend is. The knees do a little bit too, but really let it be hips. Next time you come up, stay up. Squeeze your block, push your tushy back, lift your torso without unbending your hips. Bend your hips a little bit deeper actually to sit even lower. Chair posture, strengthening the lower extremities, keeping your body nice and strong to support you. Lots of force for your hips, for your femur bone, for your pelvis. Take one more breath. And then take your hands together, bring yourself all the way up. Move to the side. Let your block to the side for a second. Then let's take the chair, if you're using the chair, off to the side. So I'd like us to practice that intentional breathing or that intentional present moment. So you're going to come to the back edge of your mat, and I want you to have your feet a little wider than your body. Do a little side to side action. Side to side. Feel yourself moving, feel the body weight moving, and then let the body weight go forward. Feel the toes grip. Let the body weight go back. Forward and back. So really working with the centers of balance, proprioceptive nervous system, letting yourself calibrate and turn on, preparing yourself for success. Then you're going to bring your feet to a hip distance position. Let's let one foot come forward, heel, pinky toe edge, spread peanut butter across the toast from pinky to big toe. Let the foot touch the floor. And then fully weight bear on that foot. Keep your gaze up. Back toes bend a lot. Bend them. Heel, pinky toe edge, spread peanut butter, weight bear, bend the back toes. Heel, pinky toe edge, spread the peanut butter, weight bear, bend the back toes. Bring yourself forward. Start with the opposite foot if you remember. Heel, pinky toe edge, spread peanut butter from the pinky toe by all the toes. Weight bear, you're totally on that foot. Bend the back toes. Heel, pinky toe edge, peanut butter, bend. Heel, pinky toe edge, peanut butter, bend. Do a little bit of this intentional walking. Look straight ahead. Be in your feet. Keep your mind in your feet. Go a little faster. Definitely more challenging when you go slow. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take our toes, bend your toes one at a time like you're a pony prancing. Come up on the balls of the feet. Take the toes, stretch the top of the feet. Toes are back. Try to look forward. And then the other toes are back, stretch the top of the foot. And then you're going to do the side of the foot. So flip the foot on the side and move back and forth. And then do the other side. And take your leg, shake your leg, shake your leg. All right. So speaking about this hip joint and about proper bending. So I want you to have your feet pretty wide. So we're starting off with a pretty wide stance like this. And then I want you to take your hands like a karate chop right there where the legs attach to the body. Okay? And you're going to keep your throat open, keep your spine long, and push your tushy back. Bend yourself forward. Keep your spine straight. Don't let your spine move. The movement here comes from the lengthening and the contraction of the glutes to lengthen to let you come forward. Hamstrings are involved as well. Other muscles as well. Tushy goes back, back stays nice and flat. Now I want you to take your hands. Your sacrum is in your pelvis. So I want you to take one back of the hand on the pelvis and then the other hand inside that hand. So the backs of the hands are inside of each other. The elbows are to the side, so really push your elbows back. And then your stance is pretty wide, so let the shoulder blades stay on the upper back. And then you're gonna bend your hips, tushy back. Only go as far as it feels okay. Keep the front of your spine open. Don't let the front of the spine press into itself. You might be limited here with how far forward you're gonna go. And it may only be an inch or two. Notice when this wants to start happening to go down even more. So proper bending, let's learn how to bend that joint. Now hip and knees to go a little deeper. Keep your spine nice and long. Throat is open, head is up. Don't let your head go down. See if you can feel that in your glutes and your hips. Bend your hip. One more. And then bring yourself up. Let's take a chair. We're going to do loading our hip joint, strengthening our hip joint in that nice flexion position. Warrior 3 position. Here, let me show you this posture before we come into it. So this is fully loading, whatever, loading actually to wherever you can. Loading in that front hip joint. Now, maybe you could take an arm up, or opposite arm and opposite leg, or you could take both off into the thing. What you want to make sure is this is not happening. You're rounding your spine to come up. You have a nice lengthened spine when you come into your Warrior 3. Okay? So whatever you could do, for some of you, this is Warrior 3. This may be your Warrior 3. This may be your Warrior 3. And to be honest, having your hand on the chair and not adding the upper body is lovely. It's my preferred. So whatever is your weakest hip, I'd like you to start with your weakest hip, if you know which one is your weakest. I'd like you to start with your hands on the chair. Load up that standing leg. Bring your body weight back into the heel and then forward to the toes. That's the standing leg is what I'm doing this with. Back to the heel, forward to the toes. See if you can feel how that turns on the back of the body when you go back or it comes forward and front. So let's be equal, even in that foot. Grab the floor with the foot, flex the back foot, and then let's lift. Bending at your hip joint to wherever you can. Maybe you stay up there, or you're able to come down a little lower. And if you do, push your body weight back on that leg. Don't let it go forward. Stay here, lift that back leg up. Bending at that hip, nice long spine. Press your heart forward, your spine is nice and long. If you want to bring an opposite arm off, if that feels appropriate for you, try that. Spinal stabilization. Take one more breath. And then bend your knee to come out. Keep your throat open, come out. So when I'm doing that, I feel so much joint movement in my back of my body and my spine because I have a hip replacement on that leg I was just standing on. And so for my body to communicate how to stabilize the pelvis, how to stabilize the trunk, that's a lot of communication, and I feel my bones moving. So I'm not sure if you're able to feel your joints move. Not all joints still move, by the way. If you've had a lot of tightness come into your body, some of you may have fused your joints at this point where they don't quite move that way. Not that that's good or bad, it is what it is. Let's go to the other side, the other foot. So loading on that other foot. I think it's just important to know your body and where you're at and work with what you have. Let's take the hands on the chair because this gives you a nice way to keep your spine nice and long, especially if you push in and you activate your shoulder girdle. Let's flex the back foot and then let's load forward. Keep your spine nice and long onto that standing leg. Make sure your body weight is back so you're not forward, you're back. Come into the posture. If you want to come down, come down. Notice if both sides are the same. And then if you want to bring off opposite arm, do that. Nice long spine here. So I'd say to lift your limbs as high as it feels comfortable and slightly to a more challenging position. One more breath. And then bend the standing knee to take the tension out, keep yourself up, bring yourself up. When I practice this Warrior 3 posture, I definitely do a lot of hip work, and I usually feel it the next day. So I'd like you to pay attention to what you notice, and that'll give you an indication of what's the safe range of motion for you to be in. So let's come into a balanced posture, tree posture, after all this work we've done, loading of joints. So I'd like to come into a tree posture. So feet are on the floor. Let's get a nice firm grip with the floor. And take your hands on the side of your body, and from there, because that'll take the elbows where they need to be. Push your elbows back, and then from there, unbend the elbows. Your body weight over to your left. Come onto your right tippy toes. Knee out to the side. Bring the foot up in between the knee joint and the ankle. Deep breaths here. Smile. Choose something to stare at in front of you. And then last breath. Bring yourself forward, bring yourself down. Go to the other side. Take your hands down along the wall here. Choose something to stare at that doesn't move. Take one breath. And then bring yourself out. Shake your feet. And come down onto the ground. Do a couple of postures down on the ground. So take your chair off to the side. And get your props, your blanket, your block, and get your strap. And then when you come down to the ground by bending your hips, have your feet maybe a little wider. Bend your hips, keep your spine nice and long, keep your head up. So load up those joints and feel what feels appropriate to you as you load up your knee and your hip. And the more strengthening you do for your glutes and your lower leg muscles, the more protective it will be for your joints. And then let's bring yourself to the side, reach your hand away from you and bring yourself down onto the blanket. Probably really happy to be here now. Let your head be supported. Bring your knees into your chest and then up towards the sky. Let the joints settle. Let the shoulders settle. Let the hip joints settle. And then we're going to stretch the legs here. Do one of the poses that stretches the hamstring muscle in case we created any tension, and let's pull on that pelvis, make the pelvis stronger. So draw the right foot in, take the strap on the arch, slide your hands down and wrap your hands around so you have a nice firm grip. And then draw that leg deep so you feel the pressure of your buttock on the floor. Then take your left leg, lengthen the left leg if that's appropriate for you. Press that left leg into the floor for the right leg. So really strongly hug the bones with all the muscles of the right leg. And let's begin. Draw the leg back towards the wall. Keep the knee straight. Pull on your pelvis. Deep breaths. And then last breath. Pull down to deeply set that leg in the joint. And take that leg nice and long. Press the right leg into the floor. Firm up the left leg. Nice straight leg. Firm up the leg and now hug the muscles to the bone. And then draw that leg back towards the wall behind you. Pulling down towards the ground, firming up the muscles, and then drawing the leg behind you. Deep breaths. All right. Bend the right knee first. Take the strap off. Go ahead and take your block. Bring your block between your knees. Take the blanket away from you. We're going to do the bridge posture. Lengthen the back of the head. So strengthen backbones or the back body, the muscles, and the muscles that support the back of the spine, which is also for balance, posture for a life. Walk the feet closer to you. Squeeze the block. Tilt the pelvis backwards so the low back presses to the floor, and then press into the floor, arms body, lift your pelvis up, squeeze the tushy, squeeze the block. Peel your spine away from the floor, nice long neck. Let the weight come to the upper body, not to the head or neck. Deep breaths. Last breath. Come down, let it be nice and slow. One vertebra at a time. Come onto your tippy toes to lengthen that lower back. Take the block out. Bring the blanket back. Draw the knees into the chest. Let's go ahead, put the feet on the floor. Take the arms out to the side like a scarecrow. Let the back of the hand touch the floor. So if you need to be a little farther away, try that. Take your legs off like the mat and walk them a little bit forward. And then slowly side to side, stretching your hip, moving your hip. Let's release any tension and created. This is stretching hip joint, so the lower torso, maybe a little bit coming into the low back. So see what feels appropriate for you. Close your eyes. If you'd like to let your legs stay over towards one side, you could do that. Turn your head on the opposite side, a gentle twist to end your practice. Take a big inhale. Exhale your belly button back towards your spine. Come all the way back up. Inhale, let your legs go to the other side. One more breath. Back up. Let's take your body nice and point the toes towards the floor. Flex the hands, reach, stretch your body glove, push your belly button to your spine. Try to push the low back towards the floor. From here, we'll go into the last posture of the day, which is the Shavasana. Allow everything to integrate, everything you just did. Come into your Shavasana. Think of peace, 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 or if you'd like, that works for you to calm your mind. Something that you love. Gently begin to deepen your to move your fingers and toes. Awareness to your as you start to bend your joints to draw side to side. Then on to your side. You're going to push it up to a seated position. Come on. To a seated position, we're going to close the practice. Bring yourself here. Let's take the hands down alongside. Inhale up. Close. Hands find each other. Bring the hands straight down. Thumbs touch the sternum bone in your neck. Down towards the chest. We'll close with a humming sound. Keeping the mouth closed like the letter M. Take a deep breath all the way into your belly. Bowing in gratitude, namaste. I would drink a lot of water after today's practice. I'd pay attention to how you feel and then modify the practice to your body, to your needs. If it's too much, you have too much discomfort in your muscles or certain body parts, don't go as deep in loading your joints and your muscles and your bones. So do what you can do to create that proper stimulus and don't do too much so you say to yourself, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. So find Goldilocks position of strong muscles, strong body, strong bones. All right, it looks like I may have had some internet problems. I'm far away over there, so I can't quite see, but I do think I had internet problems. So hopefully it was okay for you guys. I have a lot of workers here, so lots of stuff's going on in my house. My house is complete chaos, so hopefully it wasn't too chaotic. All right. Well, I enjoyed having you all. Thank you so much for practicing with me. And I hope your body and your bones feel good. And I'll see you the next time. All right. Bye.